Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Public Health's virtual education series, Wazooki Woehi, Family Conversations. I'm Renelle, public health nurse, joined by Jamie Decora, public health worker supervisor, who will help me moderate today's session. The goal of this series is to gather, learn, and share about Ho-Chunk culture, resources, services, and the connection to health. In public health, we focus on prevention, promotion, and the protection of the health and well-being of our communities. Health and well-being are rooted in many aspects of our lives, from our physical body, our mental health, our spirit, the environment we live in, and much more. During these sessions, we will explore topics that can impact our health and well-being. Together, we will learn about tools and resources to improve our health and the health of our communities. Today, we're joined by Rosa Gomez, dietetic intern out at the House of Wellness. Rosa is going to talk to us about wakere, and I said that absolutely wrong, but the Ho-Chunk word for poop, and how we can add more fiber into our diet. We will have about 45 minutes for Rosa's presentation, followed by Q&A. Please enter any questions or comments into the chat function, and we will help moderate those questions to Rosa. You can also come off of mute and ask questions at any time during the presentation. If there are any questions we don't have time for, we will forward off to Rosa and get those responses emailed back to the group. This session is recorded and will be posted on the Department of Health website and our Facebook page. Everyone, please welcome Rosa.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Can everybody see my screen? Yes? Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. As Ronelle said, I'm Rosa Gomez. I'm the dietetic intern, and today we're going to talk about the relationship between fiber and colorectal cancer because March is the National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So let's talk wakere. So this is the agenda for this presentation. I will talk about fiber and the benefits for fiber, also provide with recommendations for fiber and with examples about foods that are rich in fiber and provide simple ways to add fiber to your daily diet. So feel free to ask any questions. First, what is fiber? Fiber is a type of carbohydrate and it is found in the parts of plant foods like fruits, vegetables, and nuts. And fiber is different from other nutrients because it is not digested or absorbed by the body. Instead, fiber travels straight to the colon, providing health benefits. And there are two types of fiber. The first one is soluble and the second one is insoluble fiber. So soluble fiber means that this type of fiber will dissolve in water, forming a gel-like material, which will slow down digestion. And this type of fiber is digested, let's say digested by the gut microbiome, which it will provide health benefits like lowering cholesterol levels and managing glucose levels. And this type of fiber is found in oats, peas, beans, apples, citrus fruits, carrots, and barley. The other type of fiber is insoluble fiber, and this type of fiber promotes the movement of materials or waste through the digestive system. And this type of fiber allows for regular movement and increase the bulk of your stool. And it is found in whole wheat flour, wheat bran, nuts, beans, and vegetables like cauliflower, green beans, and potatoes. Now, there are fiber foods that have both soluble and insoluble fiber, and we're going to talk about it later. Okay, so fiber has many benefits, and I have a question for everybody. Do you know what the benefits for fiber are? Would anybody like to tell me? Somebody said yes. Keep us regular. Okay, fill in. Yes, those are good questions. So yes, one of the benefits for fiber is make us feel full. So fiber has many benefits. First is risk reduction for certain conditions like colorectal cancer, which is the cancer for the colon or the rectum. Also, it will provide risk reduction for diverticulosis and diverticulitis. Diverticulosis are the small pouches that is found in the colon, and when they are inflamed, they become diverticulitis. And also cardiovascular disease. Fiber also provides with digestion, preventing constipation, and this is because of the type of insoluble fiber, which increases the bulk of your stool. And it will provide food to the gut microbiome. And here I'm talking about the soluble fiber type. And it will help you feel full longer. Yes. Because fiber is not digested or absorbed in the system, it will make, after you eat fiber, it will make, like, let's say, the digestion or the breaking down of this nutrient for a long time. And the last benefit is support health conditions like lowering blood cholesterol and helping control blood sugar levels. And this is because of the soluble fiber. And it will support weight management because, again, fiber will take longer and you will feel full longer and you are less likely to eat food right after a meal. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So since March is the National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, we're going to dive in how fiber and colorectal cancer are related or have an association. So colorectal cancer is the third most common cancer in the US, and it represents the 7.6% of all new cancers in the US. So 7.6% seems a small percentage, but colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related death in the US. And there has been several studies that found a significant positive association between fiber and colorectal cancer prevention. And specific findings was that eating more whole grain foods will help lower the risk for colorectal cancer. And I'm going to provide examples of whole grain foods. The next finding was that fiber coming from fruits seems to lower the risk of early colorectal problems. And fiber from fruits, vegetables, and beans may also help slow cancer development. So eating your fiber will help you to reduce the risk for colorectal cancer. Also, screening on time and showing up to your screening appointments can be another way to detect colorectal cancer early, helping you with the treatments to work best for you. So it is recommended to get a screening right after you turn 45 and continue to have your screenings at regular times. And it is helpful to work with your primary provider. And there are two types of screening for colorectal cancer. They are colonoscopy and Cologuard. And the Cologuard is the type of screening that they deliver the test to your house. And I think you get to send your sample. Kyla, correct me if I say that right for Cologuard.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. And Also, it is recommended to get screening before turning 45 if you have been diagnosed with inflammatory bowel disease or have a personal or family history of colorectal cancer. For example, if your mom or your dad have been diagnosed with colorectal cancer. And if you have certain genetic conditions, which is the Lynch syndrome, which increases the risk for colorectal cancer. So make sure to show up to your screening appointments. Yeah. Also, to obtain the benefits for fiber, we need to eat a certain amount of fiber every day. Can you guess how much fiber we need in one day? 30 grams. Yep, sounds about right. 30 grams, okay. Do we have another guess? Okay, we only have 30 grams. So let's see how much we need. According to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, it is recommended to have or eat 25 grams of fiber for women and 38 grams for men. Yes, yes, Ronelle, you were close. And these recommendations apply for people that are 50 years old or younger. And if you are 51 years old or older, you can see that the recommendations are lower because it is normal to see when people age, nutrient recommendations and calorie recommendations tend to decrease. So it is normal to see less amount for fiber recommendations. Also, it seems that getting 38 grams or 25 grams per day, seems that it is not crazy amount, but about 95% of all Americans, including both adults and children, consume around 45 grams of fiber in average, meaning just 1% out of 10 people are meeting the recommendations for fiber. So it is a bit concerning. And to get to the 25 grams for women or 38 grams for men, we need to know what are the sources of fiber. And we are going to discuss about it in this section. But I have a question for you. What are the sources for fiber? Does anybody know the sources for fiber in terms of food? Anybody would like to? Yes. Wheat bread, yes. Oatmeal, yes. Good ones. Yes, so those are a couple of sources of fiber, yes. Thank you for answering. And the first type of fiber, sources of fiber, is whole grain. And why whole grain? And I'm going to explain that with this image. You can see that we have whole grains on the left and a refined grain on the right. For whole grains, we have the bran part, which is filled with fiber, the endosperm part, which is filled with starchy carbohydrates, and the other part, germ, is a nutrient-packed. So when you eat a source that is whole grain, you're getting these three parts of the grain: the bran, endosperm, and germ. On the other side, when you have the refined grain, this is processed, and they take off the bran and the germ part. So you're only getting the endosperm part or the starchy carbohydrates. For example, when you're eating white pasta, white bread, or white rice, you are getting just the starchy carbohydrate compared to when you're getting whole wheat bread, brown rice, or whole wheat pasta, you are getting the bran, endosperm, and germ. So let's look at examples of whole grain foods. We have whole wheat Cheerios, whole wheat crackers, whole grain crackers, brown rice, whole grain chips, and oatmeals. Now, focusing on oatmeal, I'm talking about the one that you make at home because the ones that are ready to eat, they can be flavored and they can be packed with sugars. So be careful with that. And from these examples, it looks like oatmeal provides the highest amount of fiber in 1 cup. There are more examples for whole grain foods like popcorn, and it needs to be the air popcorn because the ones that you prepare in the microwave, they are higher in sodium and higher in unhealthy fats. So it is best to consume the air popcorn. Next, we have bran flakes, quinoa, whole wheat bread, and whole wheat pasta. And from these examples, it seems that 1 cup of whole wheat pasta provides 6 grams of fiber. Does anybody have questions so far? No? Okay. So the second dietary source for fiber are fruits, and they have natural sources of fiber and natural sources for sugar, so they are safe to eat. And specifically, the skins and the seeds for fruits provide insoluble fiber, which again is the type of fiber that will help adding bulk to your stool. Examples of high fiber fruits are raspberries with 1 cup providing 8 grams of fiber. We also have apples, bananas, and pears. And again, these fruits provide both soluble and insoluble fiber, but remember that the ones with the skin or seeds provide also insoluble fibers. The next dietary source of fibers are vegetables. They are part of a healthy diet, and this is because they provide lots of nutrients and they are very low in calories. And they are also a good source of insoluble fiber because of the skins and the seeds. And it is important for bowel health and normal bowel movements. So the highest vegetable for fiber is artichoke, providing about 10 grams of fiber in 1 cup. But also Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and spinach are good sources of fiber. And again, these vegetables provide other nutrients besides fiber. And when we look at the red or orange vegetables, we have here sweet potatoes with 6 grams of fiber in 1 cup. But also carrots, beets, and red bell peppers provide good sources of fiber. The next dietary source of fiber are beans, peas, and legumes. And they are fiber-rich plant-based foods, and they also have protein besides fiber. And they are a good source of soluble fiber, which will help with improving digestion and lowering the cholesterol and sugar blood levels. So let's look at kidney beans in 1 cup, providing about 16 grams of fiber. And lentils provide about 16 grams of fiber. So as you can see, beans and legumes provide more than 10 grams of fiber in 1 cup. Also, chickpeas provide about 9 grams of fiber. So lentils are underrated. I love this. Yes, yes. So lentils have both protein and fiber. So, and they are filling and they are delicious. So make sure to get your beans. And last but not least, the dietary source of fiber are nuts and seeds, and they are rich in protein, healthy fats, and fiber. And so since they are source of healthy fats, they will promote with heart and digestive health. And another thing for nuts are healthy fats and they will have a little bit higher of calories. So just sticking with a 1/4 cup or just 1 handful a day is recommended. Examples of high fiber nuts, we have almonds, providing about 4 grams of fiber in 1 ounce. And the next one, we have pistachios, providing with 3 grams of fiber. And about seeds, we have chia seeds, providing 5 grams of fiber in 1 tablespoon. Next, we have sunflower seeds and flax seeds. It is recommended to always read the food label to know how much fiber you're getting. So also, it is helpful to read the nutrition facts. In this slide, I have an example of white bread versus whole wheat bread. On the left side, we have white bread, which is a refined grain. And when we look at the nutrition facts label, we see that eating 3 slices, you're getting less than 1 gram of fiber, which seems very low for fiber. And then on the right side, we see whole wheat bread. Eating 1 slice of this whole wheat bread, we are getting 3 grams of dietary fiber. So this is a huge difference between less than 1 and 3 grams of fiber. Also, when we read the ingredients for the foods that we're buying at the grocery stores, we know that it's either whole grain when the first ingredient will say whole wheat, whole grain, or bread. On the left side for white bread, we don't see any whole wheat or whole grain as the first ingredient. But on the right side, we see whole wheat flour as the first ingredient, which is telling me this bread is whole grain. Also, you're gonna know the bread is whole grain when it says whole wheat or 100% wheat. Kyla, was it 100% wheat or 100% grain?
100% wheat.
Okay,
Yep.
so
Or it could say 100% whole wheat.
Whole wheat, okay.
Mhm.
So remember, thank you, Kyla. So remember to always read the food labels. Okay. So since we said on previous slides that Americans are eating an average of 14 grams per day, I'm going to provide easy ways to add fiber to your diet so you can get to meet the recommendations for 25 grams for women and 38 grams for men. Okay, so the first one, choose cereals with whole grains bran as the first ingredient. Again, reading the ingredients will tell you if the cereal is whole grain. Number 2, eating whole fruit instead of drinking fruit juices. Eating whole fruits will provide both insoluble and soluble fiber. Also, fruit juices are more concentrated and it will impact the blood sugar levels higher and faster if you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Number 3, snack on fruits, vegetables, and nuts instead of cookies and chips. Another recommendation is to pair a protein source with either fruit, vegetables, and nuts. One example is eating your fruits with Greek yogurt or eating your nuts with Greek yogurt. And this is because pairing a snack, fruit, vegetables, or nuts with a protein source will help you to stabilize both your energy and your sugar levels. Number 4, adding beans, peas, or lentils to your soups and salads. An example is adding chickpeas to your salads and lentils to your soups. Number 5, choose whole grain breads, rice, and pasta instead of white processed varieties. So you can get the 3 parts of the grain that we talked about at the beginning of the presentation. And number 6, sprinkle oat bran, wheat germ, or chia seeds to your yogurt, cereal, or salads. So now let's look at one example of how to get at least 35 grams of fiber in a day. So for breakfast, we have half cup of oatmeal, 1 cup of raspberries, and 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. And just in breakfast, you're getting 15 grams total. For snack, we have 1 cup of Greek yogurt, 1 ounce of almonds, and 1 medium banana. And we're getting 10 grams of fiber. And again, we're pairing a protein source, which is Greek yogurt, with a source for healthy fats, which in this case is almonds. For lunch, we have turkey sandwich, 2 slices of whole wheat bread, 2 slices of turkey, and a side of half cup of carrots, which we're getting 6 grams total. And for the turkey sandwich, you can add lettuce, tomatoes, any condiments you like. And for dinner, we have 1 cup of brown rice, half cup of cooked broccoli, and 3 ounces of chicken breast. And we're getting 6 grams total. So just in this day, we are meeting the recommendations. Does anybody have a question about this day sample? Okay. And here are additional tips. They all look like snacks. Can I ask how come that it looks like snacks for you? Because of the portion size or because they are too little or okay. Yeah, so let me know what it looks like snacks mean if you're talking about portions. Okay, so about the additional tips, it is important to increase your fiber intake gradually because eating too much fiber in one day will make you bloated or have gas. So make sure to add fiber gradually. And also drink water, plain water, because water will help the fiber to move throughout the digestive system. And it will prevent you from feeling bloated, having gas, or even constipated. And it is important to drink plain water when you are adjusting to the new diet in increasing fiber. And make sure to drink water based on your weight and activity level. So the recommendations for adults is to drink at least 64 ounces. And if you exercise regularly, make sure to drink more water so you don't get dehydrated. So to conclude this presentation, 2000. Yes, I will answer your question once I'm done with the conclusions. So to conclude this presentation, both soluble and insoluble fiber provide health benefits. Fiber consumption may help with reducing the risk for colorectal cancer. And picking foods with whole wheat or bran or 100% whole wheat by reading the first ingredient of the food that you're getting. And again, drink plain water so it will help the fiber to move throughout your colon and digestive system. Okay.